This presentation is an extract of the demonstration given at the Hong Kong Plaxis user group meeting on the 28th of November 2011. In this particular extract, we're going to look at taking AGS data, importing it into HoleBASE, and then using the HoleBASE reporter to drive the command line in Plaxis 3D. What we're going to try and do is create a very simple three-dimensional model like so from 3 boreholes. And we're going to do this using the HoleBASE and a HoleBASE reporter. Okay, so here we are in HoleBASE. We've got a blank project at the moment. First thing we need to do is we need to import the AGS file. So simply select AGS import from the file menu, select the file that we want to import and click OK. All the data will now be imported into the application, including all the borehole locations, geologies, samples, lab testing results, and any other data that's contained within the AGS file. Once imported, the first thing the program will do is update the sitemap in the background to show you where all your borehole locations are. But at any time you can go into the File Hole Data window and see all of the borehole information being brought in, and maybe drill down into that data to look at the geology information, all the layering, or all the samples and other things within the data itself. So all this data has now just been imported in from a Hong Kong AGS file straight in to HoleBASE. Okay, once the data's in, we have an external application called the HoleBASE reporter. This works in Microsoft Excel, but allows you to connect directly to that data set. So here we just have a 3-button interface. We can literally select the project we want to work on. We can open up a template, and to demo how this works, I'm going to take an SBT with depth plot and open it, and then simply we're going to run the reporter. Select the 3 files that we want, or the 3 holes that we want, and click OK. So it will now bring data for those 3 boreholes across onto my report sheet and automate the production of a graph. So here we have SBTs with depth themed by borehole, but we also have a plot for each borehole. And the way reporter works is it brings the data back on the bottom here. So we can see there all the information brought back from HoleBASE and put into the spreadsheet. Now when this data comes back, you can apply Excel equations to it, you can do clever VBA routines, anything you want. And what we did to demonstrate Plaxis in the seminar is we set up 2 templates. We set up a Plaxis borehole locations template, which we'll now open, and we can run in the same way that we ran the last template. So we select this button, select the 3 holes that we want to work with, and click OK. Now here we have 2 sets of Plaxis command line routines, and we can simply copy these, go into Plaxis, go to our Expert tab and go to Run Commands. Now in here all we have to do is Control V to paste those commands in and click the Run button. Now what happens there is those 3 commands have been run, and you can see I've got 3 borehole locations in the background. Now I just need to go back to my Excel sheet, cut and paste that second column, which sets the head heights or the ground levels for those boreholes in Plaxis. Control V, copy them in, and run that command again. So now all the heights have been adjusted to be their correct heights. Okay, we're going to go back to HoleBASE reporter. We're going to open up our second template for Plaxis, the Plaxis layers template. And we're going to run this in exactly the same way. We're going to select the 3 holes that we need. We're going to click OK, and now what we've got here is a whole set of Plaxis soil layer commands. We're going to go back into Plaxis 3D, back into this window, and we're going to paste those in, Control V, and if I just move this off to the side you'll be able to see what happens as those commands are run. Okay, so it effectively builds up that model and does any interpretation it wants to do within the Plaxis interface. I've got one final thing I've got here, which is just a cut and pasted set of layer commands. Okay, we could automate this as well maybe in future templates. And here we'll just go back into here, Control V, run it again, and you'll see now we've got some geology color definition actually on our model. So there we go. Simply using just the cut and paste, we've got 3 boreholes in, which you can see, and we have effectively the geology layers all built up and ready for a simple meshing activity within Plaxis itself. all without retyping any data at all. All we've done is we've imported the data into HoleBASE, we've opened up Reporter, we've reported it in a way that we can then cut and paste it into the command line interface of Plaxis and built up our 3D model. So in conclusion, for Hong Kong AGS data, we've seen during the presentation that there's a very powerful use for the consultant in understanding of the site. During the demonstration in the Hong Kong AGS meeting, during the demonstration in the Plaxis Hong Kong group, we did all sorts of interactions with the data, 3D models and everything else. The great news for Hong Kong is AGS data is widely available to you. We spoke in the presentation of there being 13,000 geotechnical reports available in Hong Kong for AGS data. And using HoleBASE, this data can easily be reported in a format that can be used to generate a 3D Plaxis model. Here's some final information that you may like to follow us either on Twitter or through our website, or download some more information on the AGS. I'll be creating a second movie sometime soon to show how to create a 3D surface, which can also be imported into Plaxis.